Well, there's so many memories that I have of Christian, him being our firstborn. But there is one that I'm going to share, and it was when the kids were younger, and Christian was in junior high school, and Trent and I were separated again, and I had moved back to Orange County with the kids, and I gathered them on my bed, and we prayed. And then I was looking at them, and I began to cry and just apologize to them for just the struggles, the changes in our family, and the mistakes I was making as their mother. And then Christian, he looked at me, and usually Christian is just very critical of me. He's very ready to be upset with me, blame me for everything going wrong in his life. And he looked up at me very confidently, and he said, "Mom, it's okay. We're going to be all right." And he said, "God is letting us go through this so that when he gets us out of it, we can thank him and then help somebody else who's going through the same thing." And I cherish that because it really moved me. I was taken aback because at his age, saying something like that, I mean, I know adults who couldn't rise above their circumstances the way he did. And I knew it was a turning point for him. And at that moment, I knew that no matter what terrible mistakes Trent and I had made as his parents, I knew that God was letting me know he had his hand on our boy. And I just know that God is molding him, preparing him, and shaping him into someone really special.
You know, I was thinking about this, man, but it's a weird one because it happened to be one where I had to discipline him. You know, is a memory that really sticks out to me. You know, at that time, Christian was, I don't know, he was just in a weird place at this time. You know, like his, you know, everybody knows him as a real respectful kid, but you know, his parents see other sides of him, and you know, he was just in a place where he was just being a little rebellious, I guess. You know, really wasn't listening to his mom or myself, and you know, just always picking on his brothers and sisters. But one particular time, he pushed his brother Judah, and we thought he broke his leg, and that was a time where, you know, Nisha, you guys rushed him to the hospital, right? They rushed Judah to the hospital. I thought his leg was broke, so, you know, I pulled him to the side and I was trying to talk to him, but he had the attitude like, you know, who you talking to? You know, the look he gave me. And I was like, oh, boy. So I had to pull him to the side, man, and, you know, I was talking to him, but he was still just coming back at me like, you know, that's what he gets. That's what he gets. You know, he keeps messing with me, whatever. Man, I ain't never had to put hands on him like I did before. But that day, you know, I really beat him down, you know what I'm saying? I put the paws on him. But he just got to the point where he said he didn't care anymore, you know. He didn't care if he died. He didn't care because he felt like, you know, he's been hurt his whole life. And being the firstborn, you know, he's always the one that we call on, you know. And he feels like he didn't really have a childhood and all that. And, you know, I understood him. And, you know, then it just really changed the way I was disciplined, how I was thinking. I should have disciplined her. So, man, after spanking him and all, man, I just sat down and that just hit me like, dang, he's right. His whole life he had to be this. He had to grow up faster than other kids because of what we were going through. So I just sat down, man, and it was a real breaking point with me and him. I had to sit down and had to apologize for. It wasn't just about what happened with Judah. I just sat him down and apologized about everything, about how I was when he was growing up, hanging out, being on the streets or whatever, and not really being here for him. I was here, but I wasn't here, type of deal. So I sat down and apologized for all that, apologized for the way me and his mom, been going at it or whatever, and and he just cried out to me, and same thing, he told me it's all right, he understood, that's all part of life, and this was a couple years back, so, he was like 15 at the time, and I was like, wow, it just really broke my heart, man, and, I just said, man, the only thing I thought about was like, man, we just gotta pray, son. You know what I'm saying? So me and him with his face all busted up, we sitting there, we sitting there crying together, and we just prayed about it, and we got over it, man. And that's just one of the moments that I know that me and him made a real connection, other than just me being his father, like, telling them what to do or what not to do. It's just, we really got to speak to each other, on a different level. It's a typical older brother, he's a bully. He picks on all the kids, but he's real protective of them as well, He always looks out for them, especially with Coco. They claim, they're 10 years apart. Coco was born on December 23rd. He was December 24th. So they call each other twins.
What I love about Christian is that he's funny.
Christian is very nice. He is very caring. And sometimes he helps me with my homework. One thing I love about my brother is that he helps me with my homework. He helps me around the house and with sports. Like whenever I have a bad game, he always encourages me to do better and tells me what I can improve on.
One thing I love about Christian is that he's so outgoing and how he's pursuing his dream by going to college.
One thing I love about my brother is that he doesn't care about what people think and he's not scared to try something new.
One thing I love about Christian is his level of commitment. Every time he talks to me about stuff that he's passionate about or, tasks that he wants to get done, I always see him follow through with it, and I'm just really proud of him, that he has that trait and he's able to follow through and just, focus in on whatever he wants to complete.
But yeah, him and Coco real tight. Well, he's real tight with all of them. But he has his own special relationship with each one of them.
I'll miss playing with him, and I will miss seeing him a lot.
I will miss playing with him.
One thing I'll miss most about him is his advice that he gives me, because a lot of the stuff I go through right now, he's already been through, and he can tell me like what I should do.
What I'm gonna miss most about Christian is his humor. He's very funny.
The one thing I'm gonna miss about Christian is him always teasing me, but even though I don't like it, I'm still gonna miss him doing that.
I'll probably miss just him, just being here, being able to come over to the house whenever I'm bored or want to kick it with him, just hanging out. And he's that person that I can always talk to whenever I'm, I have something on my mind or he has something on his mind. We're always, just talking to each other. So probably just him, as a person, because, me and him, we're so alike. It's funny. Like me and him, when there's something wrong with one of us, the other one always knows. And that's probably what I'll miss most about him, is just him as a person.
I want to tell him to do good in school.
I want to tell Christian that I love him and that I want to give him a big hug.
One thing I want to tell him is that I'll miss him. Oh, and to be safe out there.
One thing I want to tell him before he leaves is to do good out there and to have fun.
I want to tell him no drinking or smoking and no girlfriends because they're a distraction.
You know all about that, huh, bro?
Yep.
Before he leaves, I just want to tell him, man, I'm proud of him. You know, I remember he's talked to me about he always wanted to go to college and, you know, just start his life out, and I'm just so proud of him, and just want to tell him I love him, and when he goes out there, man, if he ever needs anything, he can call me. He knows that I'll always be there for him. I know that he'll always be there for me. And I love him, and stay focused. Have fun.
He would come into my office wanting to have the hardest teachers, the best teachers. He would be the one coming to my office to get Dr. Dupree and Dr. Schutze Coburn as a teacher while other students were lining up to try to get out of those classes.
I would say Christian is a very thoughtful individual. He's very artistic. He's very, I think he's very passionate and honest when he speaks. A lot of times other people in the posse will gravitate to that because, whether he has something to say or he knows about a particular subject or he doesn't, he's going to tell you straight out, right? He's not going to really, smoke and mirrors trying to get the answer across. He's really just a direct person. I think a lot of people in the posse take a liking to that and kind of gravitate to that.
I think Christian is the epitome of a student who reaches for the stars, yet he could talk to you at the lunch benches. So he's not the kind that is so up there that he doesn't feel like he could just talk to the regular person. He blends in with everyone, yet he's an achiever, and I think that's pretty unique.
From the moment I met him, he was real, and the way I wrote it in the recommendation is he's not a politician. He's not trying to power play anybody. He's not trying to manipulate anybody. He's just exactly who he presents, which is a very sincere, intellectually curious, kind, nice, good young man.
He can be very much a procrastinator. So he would have us on edge because he had something due, had a project, and it was the next day. And he would be telling me that night. And he'd be like, Mom, I need to go get this and this and this and this. And Michael's is closed. What do you want me to do? You want me to create it for you? He contributes in a way where he's actually showing humility, yet he takes care of business, right? So he's modeling that. He's not only going to try to find ways for him to achieve, but he's going to help others achieve as well.
A consensus across the board was that Christian is the one that's, in some cases, the glue of the posse, in that every person in the posse feels comfortable to talk to him.
He is so dedicated. He's so committed. If he says he's going to do something, he will move mountains to get things done. And I love that about him. I love that he's a guy who keeps his word. And I've watched him work many late nights on homework and projects, and I would be going to sleep before him, and I'm like, my son is down there doing AP calculus and I cannot even help him. I cannot. There's nothing I can do I don't even understand. I haven't understood this boy's math for 2 years already, and he's in AP calculus, and he knew that he needed to make that grade. He needed to, succeed for his future. It wasn't anything that Trent or I had to discipline him as far as his grades or, getting his assignments completed. He did that for himself. Yeah.
Yeah, I never had to tell him, you do your homework. Make sure you do your homework. He was always on it. He did his own thing. I'm really proud of him too, because high school is a stage in your life too, where you trying to find out, who you are, or what crowd you belong to, or whatever. And I'm proud he never stepped into that, into the wrong crowd.
I said the word unique before strategically because it's in his own way. He's found his own unique way to contribute.
to not just his family, not just his community, but even his peers coming up, because a peer in our college center means that you're going to learn about how to get into college and then help others. And that's been the role that he's chosen to take.
Yeah, his family bang or whatever, but he never tried to act like that. You know, he knew where I came from, and he never tried to take after me in that way, and which I was real happy about him. You know, I was like, man, this dude, you know, he's his own person.
And probably one of the most impressive things to me was that, you know, he's very, very good at football, and he does rugby on the side. And he was extremely successful in 9th and 10th grade in football. But in 11th grade, he wanted to focus on his academics and do really serious, difficult classes. And he had the foresight to see that trying to do football and trying to do that kind of program just wasn't possible. So he kind of swum sideways to the culture of the school, and he resisted the push of a lot of people, including the football coaches, and he pulled himself out of that program. Now, being in football is a way to be popular with the girls and you know, get a lot of status, and he was just far more interested in, you know, this desire to be a great student, and he did it.
The Posse Foundation is a nonprofit that looks to send a group of kids in cohorts or groups of 10 to a university and have them support each other all the way through. So they'll go through what's called a dynamic assessment process, and this is really our opportunity to find these leaders and to really pinpoint academic potential.
I heard about it through a friend, and I knew you had to get nominated for it. So, you know, I kind of put on the back of my mind. I didn't really research it until he told me, Mom, someone nominated me for this Posse scholarship. I'm like, oh, isn't that so-and-so got that scholarship? And I was just so excited, and he was like, oh, I need to go to the first interview.
Our first interview was a large group interview where we put a group of about 700 to 100 students through a series of different activities and things of that nature to see how they work in a group. You know, what their voice is like, what their input is like, if they step on other people as they're trying to achieve their goal, and really just kind of pinpointing that personality piece that can push a posse all the way through.
Then afterwards he said, Mom, it was a whole group thing, and you know, I don't know if I'm gonna get it, but I'm just gonna go for it. He found out he got called back for the second interview.
The second interview is more of a one-on-one, in-depth interview about the individual. This is, again, when we find that academic potential, that leadership potential, where we really delve into who that person is and how they can add to a posse.
He was really excited about it, and then I started to research, and I looked up, you know, what is the scholarship about, and it was a full tuition if he passed through the third interview. The
last interview is our finalist dinner, where administrators from the university fly down and actually get to have one-on-one interactions with the student.
And sure enough, praise the Lord, we had prayed, we were fasting, and he had soared through the third interview. We were at the movies, got the phone call, and oh my goodness, me and him were some jumping fools, just running around this theater screaming like, oh, he got this scholarship.
It's really, you know, a rare opportunity to have that face-to-face interaction, because a lot of times you're kind of just a number on a piece of paper. So, you know, in Christian's case, he really did a good job of getting all the way through the interview process and making an impression on those administrators.
If I won the lottery, that's probably what it would feel like, because that's how happy I was. You know, I felt like when you hit the lottery. You know what I'm saying? I was like, dang, I ain't got to work 2-3 jobs, you know, help pay for school. But man, it was a blessing, man. I was excited.
Yeah, I mean, this is an honor.
There's only 100 Posse scholarships awarded per area. So in the LA area, there's only 100 awarded because we only partner with 10 schools. When the interview process started, there was 2,100 students in the LA area that we interviewed, and Christian was chosen to be one of 100 to be a Posse scholar.
When I first knew that he had picked Wisconsin, I was really I had mixed feelings because, yeah, okay, you're getting a full ride, but gosh, all the way out there, I don't know, we're going to have to talk about this. Maybe you shouldn't, take it.
I didn't interview him directly for his second interview. It was actually one of my coworkers, and he was considered for University of Wisconsin because that was one of the schools he chose, and she was adamant about selecting him.
And then the more and more I would talk to the counselors and saw that the program offered, the support with, he'd be out there with 9 other kids, and the counselors would fly out 2 or 3 times a year to, check in on them. And that their program secured the 4-year graduation.
It's not a very diverse campus, to be honest with you. And he's going to represent his culture when he gets on that campus. So being able to stand on his own too, be confident with his opinion, and be prepared to face others' opinions and speak about it. So I think he has the tools. I think it's all just about being empowered. And, when he has his posse behind him, they'll help propel him. But also just taking on that ideology that, your opinion matters and what you think is right. Don't second guess it. Go with your gut. That's what got you the scholarship. That's what got you here. That's what's going to help you survive on Wisconsin's campus.
And now is the next phase in his life. And it's going to require all this adjustment to a different culture, the Midwest. He's going to be surrounded by more white people than he's ever seen in his life, right? And he's going to be great. He just has to hold on to, so Kristen, this is for you, hold on to who you are. Just keep being the sincere, decent person you are. Don't try to change for anybody. Remember to work hard. Remember to be humble. And stay that way, and just keep being yourself. Don't try to transform into a politician or somebody who, just keep being you, because that's the thing that's great about you. Don't expect perfection, but, make sure you get your A's and B's, okay?
Do not come home without that degree. I don't care how far Wisconsin is. I don't care how different it is from Carson. Do not call your parents to cry to say you want to come home. You stay in Wisconsin. You get that degree. 4 years is a very short amount of time. And when we all come to Wisconsin for your graduation, you're going to look back on it and just say, I'm so glad I stuck with it. Love you, Christian.
This is the time for him to apply everything that we've taught him, and even in these last couple years where we've been really walking with the Lord, I'm praying that, he'll find his way and that God will draw him to himself while he's out there.
Just knowing how to carry himself out there, and not be that gullible kid, that people take advantage of, or, because he's so kind and, he got a big heart that, he could be mistreated, people can take advantage of that, man. And that's the thing that worries me, and I think about all the time, man, I'm gonna have to fly out there, man, and check some of these kids, man.
My hopes for Christian are that he would stay the course and not get caught up, He likes to joke about that he has 3 girlfriends, and I know that will be a real concern for him out there. He's gonna have to make some real hard choices, and I am not naive. I know he's gonna fall, and my prayer for him is that he would get back up and that he would truly seek the Lord in everything he does, and that he would go out there and represent not only himself but our family, represent his Samoan heritage, and represent, most importantly, God. Mm-hmm. If he puts God first, he will be blessed beyond what he could ever imagine.
Like they say, if you love what you do, you won't work a day in your life, So, that's my hopes for him, is that he does what he loves and that he makes a difference, and that he's an inspiration to his siblings, first of all, but to all your kids, all your kids who are unfortunate and don't have the things that other kids were blessed to have, that there is hope. Christian, growing up, with unstable folks at the time, and for him to be blessed with a scholarship, man, and man, it's a blessing, man. So my hopes is that, you know, that he does what he loves, and you know, and he makes a difference in other people's lives. You know.
My husband's a teacher, my husband's a math teacher, and I went home and I read this recommendation for him because he's always showing off because he's got all these great students over at Posse High School, and I was like,
he's over at Poly?
yeah, and I'm like, check this out, man. I made him sit down, I made my kids sit down, and I said, okay, listen up here, I got a recommendation you gotta listen to. And then and then I said to my daughters, I said, this is the kind of man I want you to marry, just like, you know. Christian, be true to yourself. Be the earnest, kind, fun-loving, intellectually curious, goofy person you are. Stay grounded, stay humble. Take that with you to the Midwest, and remember to feel joy in life, even when it's hard. And you're going to make the world better by being in it.
Hey Christian, I just want to say congratulations, man, on being a Posse Scholar and being to where you are now. A couple months before you get on University of Wisconsin's campus. I'm excited to see the growth that you're going to have in these next couple months, and I'm definitely excited to see the growth you're going to have once you're on campus. You're someone who's going to be the glue for this posse. You're going to be very, very important to making sure this posse persists and reaches their academic goal of graduating and being leaders and getting a career in the workforce. So really just, you know, empower yourself to be that leader that we know you can be once you get on campus. And I'm looking forward to seeing the growth.
Just knowing that, you know, we wouldn't have to stress over paying this tuition, and knowing that we could actually put some money in his bank account, you know, and he would have money to buy his expensive clothes that he wants. And you know, our son is kind of bougie. I don't know where he gets that from, because I am such a bargain shopper. Like, I love a discount, and if I have to pay full price for something, I get really upset about it. And him, if it's on sale, oh no, Mom. You know, if he sees a Dollar Tree bag or a 99-cent bag in our house, he's like, no. You know, and I'm just happy that.
Bouginess from?
No, it's not me. It must be him. But
yeah, he's so bougie, man. Was like, hey, so you want a car for your graduation? He was like, nah, I'm cool. So you don't want a car? He was like, y'all can't afford it. I said, what you talking about? He said, man, my first car gonna be a BMW.
Okay.
I was like,
this boy.
I was like, yeah, you just like your mama.
Mm-mm.